Hello again, I'm MJR Schultz SP 500. It is June 24th, 2025, and the recent developments in the world are, interestingly enough, were predicted at the very end of May 2025, believe it or not, with the new technique that I've been using in the Einstein model that I created for timing the stock market. I wanted to walk through that with you, a little back testing, show you how kind of thought-provoking and intriguing that really is. So I want to keep this to just 2 or 3 minutes. So on the path to the Great Depression prediction, I just want to leave a few videos every now and then of maybe some of the back testings and things of that nature, and then create a video each month that has more or less the prediction update, maybe like a monthly update, if you will. It might be every 2 months, I don't know, but right now I'm thinking every month, just around major movements. I could create a video. That way I'm only producing maybe 12 to 18 videos a year. The prediction on the blog, on my blog, it said there's going to be some type of bottom on June 12th, 13th, and also around June 24th, 25th. I wrote that back at the end of May, or maybe early May, mid-May 2025, before any military action had taken place. And so as that's unfolded, sure enough, there's been a huge spike in the market off of June 23rd low. I missed it by, I think on the original video it said June 24th plus or minus a day, so honestly it was spot on. And then the attack on June 13th was also spot on. So I want to show you the technique that I've been using, simply using historical S&P data that for some reason has been able to predict all this. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so basically this is my original Einstein model, what I used to call the zigzag model. And then each black line is a separation of 25 points. So the very top of the chart is like 100 and plus 177, and the bottom of the chart is like negative 75 or negative 100, let's say. Actually, I think the bottom of the chart is negative 100. The top of the chart is plus 175, what I call 177, because I like the sevens. What's interesting about this is if you look, I've color coded all the different ones to kind of help narrate this without having to use a pointer or anything. If you look at the green touch points, that was the mid-April major low in markets. At that time, I did not have this technique down. I struggled with how the model failed, or how I failed, maybe I should say. How I failed to identify the mid-April low. I thought it was going to be much sooner in April. If you look at the video series, I thought it was going to be at the very early April. It was in mid-April, so I was wrong there. And obviously a big error right there, right? Because if you missed getting the very bottom of April, you missed it all. So I can't say that I got it anywhere close. So, and then I kept striking out. And so I think mid-May, I always try to deconstruct my model to see, is there something else, or why aren't my models hitting as I'd hoped? And so that's when I came up with this interesting concept of pushing out to a higher level of 175 for some reason, and then using my 3-count system, right? So you can see the 1, 2, 3 going out to middle of June. That was the June 13th missile attack that Israel did. And then you can also see a bright blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up the trajectory there, and that would hit the date of June 24th, roughly, plus or minus 1 business day, right? So that was the June 23rd low. And then you can also see how the model is picking out what I believe will be a major low at the end of July, early August. Some people say that can't be true because you're basically copying the same timing as 2024. But if you look at the bottoms in April, it was very similar to 2024 for the cycle. So I think there's going to be some type of major cyclical low somewhere around late July, early August. And then also you can see a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern set up for roughly early mid-October. So there's going to be some type of major low out there. Now holidays aren't taken out yet. So if we have 3 or 4 holidays between now and October, you know that the date could push back into middle of October, you know, something like that. Or I could slightly tweak the model, you know, to sync it ever so slightly. But for those of you who think that market timing is impossible or that you can't predict events, I think we're at the day and age where AI and all these things can predict pretty strongly what the market's going to do in the future. And I think the intelligence agencies and such around the world are actually scheduling all their military plans around stock market timing now at this time and hour in the day that we live in. So I don't think it's so much anymore as your models can't predict events. I think the models predict what's going to happen in markets, and therefore I think that there's highly sophisticated financial models in the world that are being used by intelligence agencies to predict their military action, to try to make their conflict happen within a certain window of time that would garner the most effect in the markets, if you will, the most attention. And so I'll continue to make videos, obviously, on a monthly basis is kind of my plan again. Going into the Great Depression, we have about 270 weeks, if I'm correct, until the end of 2031, which I believe will be a macro peak in the markets, and that will be the kickoff of the Great Depression. But it'll be very interesting to see what is the event that takes place at the end of July that supposedly markets crash or bottom around. And you can see that the zigzag doesn't always break into the predicted bottom. So I have to use it with a few other different models to see which one is going to have the biggest effect. But you can see that each one of these has had a pretty big effect, right? So that's essentially why I originally thought that the mid-June and late June lows in the markets were going to be substantial lows because of the back testing that this model has done. And then you can see also the white set of arrows or trajectories picked out roughly April 21st, and that's where the markets sold off one last time around Easter, and then it rocketed up off that after the April 21st low. So that's also a very substantial point in time as well, right? So I thought this was pretty interesting. It really makes you think about, rethink everything that you see in the news. Like, is the news just being played off of financial markets? Which, again, I think we're getting to the day and age where people's financial models are getting so extensive into the future, like the Fed's, that they can predict what days are going to be the worst. And so therefore you would if you're a world leader, you'd schedule all your military action around the worst part of your stock market timing, right? And if you're a day off, if you can predict it near to the day, right? Usually my work is plus or minus a half a day when you get really into the really good finite models. But on the higher scale, you're going to plus or minus a day and a half or something, right? So prediction of the 24th, 25th was actually spot on for the 23rd bottom in markets. So again, I think something very substantial will happen in markets into roughly that August 1st time frame, and then obviously as we get closer and closer to October, then I'll start filling in the details there. But these are all the trends that I've really been able to identify, and interestingly enough, all the trends have a definite purpose, it would seem, in world events, would it not? So each one of these times, just sit back and think about that without missing any points, right? Supposedly, it's mind-blowing to think that all these trajectories all picked out a future point in time that would have a major and substantial impact in world news. So the black line, the black dotted or dashed line going out to July or August, early August, I think we'll have enough pull that you'll see the zigzag line break down into that time. And so therefore, when the zigzag breaks down, it takes pricing with it. So that's why I usually believe that there's going to be a major bottom at these points. And so far, each one of these points has really called for, or really has produced a major bottom. All except for the brown one into June 15th. I think that was the only one.
I can't connect to your...
Again, this is just a snippet of the GoFundMe page. I didn't want you to forget that, so thank you. And please bookmark it, whatever, and watch it over the next decade or into late 2034. Thank you so much.